In 2019, I spent the summer in Copenhagen, Denmark, through a study abroad program. And coming from a small town in the United States, traveling abroad for more than a 10-day vacation seems almost impossible. It seems almost irrational. And I'm not kidding when I say that. And other Americans will know what I'm talking about when I say that. There's such an unfamiliarity with it. It's a big deal leaving the United States for an extended period of time if you've never left. And that's not something you're used to. You're going overseas? You're leaving the country? Look at me. You're leaving the country? Why? What are you doing overseas? You have everything you need here. Isn't it dangerous? Are you trying to get killed? And that might seem like an exaggeration. I know. It might seem like an exaggeration, but there is some truth in that, unfortunately. Our view on foreign affairs, on foreign countries, isn't very healthy. And the media doesn't do a great job of painting that picture, right? I faintly remember my thoughts before going to Denmark of not really knowing what to expect. Because there was no point of reference for me. There was nothing to compare it to. Besides traveling to London when I was in high school for 10 days. There was nothing else to compare it to. It was gonna be my first time in the presence of another language. That was different. But I didn't really know what to expect. And the vastness of the United States and its culture creates this discomfort and this unfamiliarity with other cultures. There's no point of reference in the United States to compare other countries to, right? To other cultural experiences. We can drive thousands of miles across the US and experience generally the same thing, generally the same way of being. Maybe you'll come across some different food, maybe hear some Spanish, but really it's about the same. So it makes sense. Our 50 states could easily be divided into 50 different countries with different cultures, different languages, different traditions, a different way of doing things. So when we venture overseas, this is the experience we have, right? In Europe, where you can drive just a couple hours and go through multiple different countries. And when we have that experience, it is a foreign experience. It is different. So I arrived in Copenhagen and I wandered through the airport to find the abroad program conference room where we were meeting up. And when I walked in, there were about 20 of us, all from various countries. And I felt like a foreigner for the first time in my life. I felt like a foreigner for the first time in my life. I found the mix of cultural backgrounds interesting. A few hours later, I found myself in the dorm where I would stay with 50 plus exchange students for the 6-week period. And this started to fuel that sense of adventure. The independence of it all. Being in another country by myself, on my own. Going out to have these experiences. And the first couple of weeks were a recalibration process. I was everywhere. My body and mind were trying to get a grasp, trying to find some routine in this new environment. But quickly, I formed some very close relationships with a group of about 5 really good friends. And really, our whole dorm was tight. I mean, behind our dorm, there was the bench, there were the benches, the tables. We would hang out, we'd drink, smoke, play basketball, just talk for hours. So it was this intercultural mix, which I've never, had never experienced before that. So this sense of adventure that was building right through those first couple of weeks was liberating. The playful nature of it all brought me life. Everything was so different than what I was used to. The previous 23 years of my life, whatever it was so different. The learning was on. The learning was switched on by default. The sun came up at 4 a.m. and went down at 11 p.m. I remember one of my first mornings there, I woke up and it was getting light out. I checked the clock and it was 4 a.m. What's going on? What is this? There were different languages being spoken around me. Let me close the window real quick. There was different languages being spoken around me. The buildings held character. The buildings held character. People were interested in me. People wanted to learn about me. Oh, you're from the United States? Oh, where at? That's awesome. What are you doing here? Why are you here? People are interested in me. I'm by myself in another country, finding a rhythm. That sense of independence. There was food I've never tried before. The city was walkable. The city was walkable. I rode my bike as my main form of transportation. That was new. My best friends were 2 Spanish dudes. We took a weekend trip to Norway. We bought salmon at a fish market in Norway and took it home and baked it. I could go to a 7-Eleven. Listen to this. I could go to a 7-Eleven and get one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. I would go to a 7-Eleven and they would have these kebab things, these skewers with meat and veggies on them. It was one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. The food was authentic. The beer was phenomenal. The fashion style brought me ideas. The outdoor music was brand new. The nightlife events were vibrant. The clean, smooth Danish style was subtle. But man, they were smooth. Dressed nice. Nice pants on, button up. Sunglasses, tall, lanky. Clean cut. Chilling in the park with friends, smoking weed was freeing. Never been able to do that before. So this created a soup of possibilities for me. I'm sure you can imagine. The soup of possibilities with all these new experiences hitting me that I didn't know were possible. I didn't know this level of difference, this level of new things were possible before this time. Many mental doors opened as a result, and I began asking myself more questions. I began opening up more possibilities for myself over the coming months and the following years. What else is possible? I'm having all these unique, different experiences. Different from anything that I could have imagined from my previous 23 years of life at that time. What else can I experience? Can I learn another language? I've only known English, but now I hear people speaking these other languages. That sounds fun. Can I learn another language? Could I live somewhere else for a while?